All right, welcome back everyone to part 2 from the 2018 Monkey Island Open. This is a 20-hole layout, so this is going to be the back 10. My name is Anthony Vandenheel. I have with me the putter pants himself, Mr. Eric Oakley.
Yo.
And we are going to be watching the lead card from the final round. It's Eric McCabe, that is Jake Lauber, Kyle Webster of Westside Discs, and Ben Wiggins and Robert McCall, all from Team Dynamic Discs. So
let's go, boys.
Coming into the round, we actually, on hole 10, Jake decided that he just doesn't want to putt and he's just going to ace it. Eric parked it and still lost the lead. So Eric and Jake are at 12 under. Kyle is in third place at 8 under. And Robert and Ben are a little bit behind that. Hole 11, 260 feet. There's kind of a sidearm line, putter, turnover. This creek you can see is OB, and then it's actually the street behind it that's OB. There is a sidewalk, but the sidewalk is safe. So right there, Jake is still inbounds. The street there is the out of bounds line.
I think that's a good play for the whole setup because it is really tight up there.
It's close.
And you just don't want to punish players for throwing decent shots inside the circle and then, hey, guess what, you're out of bounds. But I like the sidearm play here because if you can get it on a good angle. Oh God,
the one little tree, it's 3 inches wide, and Robert just squares it.
As if Robert didn't need to get punched in the face anymore. That's beautiful.
Wow.
If you can do that, it's not a sidearm. But for a lot of players, that is a really touchy shot because that's a shield. That's got some stability. That could have worked itself into the water, and Eric just made it look good. That's a good sidearm play. He's going to have a good putt for Webby. It's just one of those holes that if you can commit.
Oh.
No.
That had a good looking line. It was a little high, hit the tree, and just kicked straight OB. You can see that's way over there, almost to the next tee pad.
Dang.
Really unfortunate for Ben. So he's got this left for his par. Train's going crazy in the background.
Love it.
Just, hey, don't think about this.
Hey.
A little bit. Okay. Is that what they're saying? Do you speak train?
Hey.
No pressure.
Make it. It's all right. When you go out of bounds and you take a bogey, you just have to say,
that
all right,
early
that's my score.
Yeah, and this is one. It's a borderline got to get birdie, so that's.
It is.
And Robert again, it's just not his day with the putter. He is normally really solid putter.
Ew.
Wow. Speaking of really solid putters, not having their day.
That's.
Yeah.
You see that, and you just. I mean, you want to give him the benefit there, and you just. It's not how our sport works.
Some bad luck there for Kyle.
Yeah, and I feel like Robert, if you watched round 1, good hit from Jake. If you're watching round 1, he's still shaken up from the fact that on a couple holes back, he had a tailwind putt lift. Good birdie from Eric. So that messes with your psyche and your thought processing of, oh, maybe what I perceive to be a tailwind or a headwind isn't. And so you're questioning life itself at that point. So you just don't know.
Robert with the really grumpy face there.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate luck for him and Kyle on that one. But our leaders
they're stretching
it. Yeah.
They're stretching it.
They're not trying to give anybody any chance. Hole 12. This is the infamous peninsula hole out at Peter Pan.
Hardest 320 feet.
Yeah. There's a safe sidearm, but it's still not easy. You could kind of lay it up with a putter. It's still not easy. You could run it. Still not easy.
I like this play. The Justice or overstable disc. Just get it right, and put yourself in a
An Eric McCabe sidearm on video. That's like spotting Bigfoot.
It's like a unicorn.
Wow. And it worked.
That was a good play. That was, I believe, was a lucid felon.
It's either a felon or a defender. Yeah, one of the two. Okay. Oh, is it? Oh, sorry, excuse me. Robert with the Westside Ati. Stood up just a little bit more than I think he wanted to.
He will be going to the drop zone. So this one doesn't play as you play from your last inbounds. You go to the end of the peninsula and throw back towards the basket, which is tough.
There's a big tree directly in the way too.
Yeah, it makes sense because when I talked to Eric about this hole, he didn't want players to stay in. Nice shot.
Yeah.
He
That's-
didn't want players to just run the basket, blow it in the water, and say, "All right, drop in 3."
Yep.
You have there's the risk reward, and you can force players to actually be smart,
Yep.
which we need more of.
Ben thought he left that one short, but
This isn't
super stoked on that.
this is not a easy approach,
Mm-mm.
but that's the right play. Get it into the ground, let it slide up.
Because you can see it's a fairly thin peninsula and it's sloped.
Mm-hmm.
If you give
On
it
either
any
side.
sort of angle, there are those little roots coming up that could save you, but they could also not save you.
They can be very friendly or
Yeah. Kyle putting the hood up. It's game time.
yeah, he's ready. It ain't raining. Blocking out.
Darth Webster. It's a long putt. He's out there. Oh. Wow.
Let's go, dude.
Black hoodie Kyle is here to play.
If you see somebody's hood go
Wow.
up, you know.
You got to be scared.
Yeah. Like, oh dang it, I might lose a stroke.
You
here.
might have 5 strokes on him now, but guess what? It's going to be... Wow, that's a good run from Eric.
That's a tough one because he misses a little bit right. Those lines were painted high, but it was because it gave us a definitive line and there was a bunch of leaves, so we didn't want to say like, oh, what's under the leaves? Are you in bounds? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was a good call by the tournament staff and everybody.
So the unfortunate bogey there for Robert. The really nice birdie there from Kyle. Pars for everybody else. Kyle's trying to come back. He's only 4 back. Still got plenty of holes left. Moving on to hole 13. This is I believe the only par 4 on the course. 450 feet. Kind of plays to a layup zone, and then across the pond, you can either go. It's usually just going to be a typical straight putter, like you see here with Kyle throwing his shield. That's a great line.
So what I figured out on this one is you don't want to throw it too far.
Mm-mm.
You can handcuff yourself real quick. I did round 1, and you don't want to do that. Putting yourself close to that big tree on the left is a great spot. Yep. You give yourself an easy opportunity to just throw a pretty routine shot over the OB towards the basket.
Subtle.
Eric knew the whole way.
Hit.
I bet he walked off the pad. He did his best impression of MJ. Turned
Just
around.
moonwalking back.
Yep.
Yeah, it does slant a little bit towards the water, so if you get it up in the air, there is a decent chance it's going to go drift over, slide in. That's not what you want.
Nope.
There was some headwind.
Left to right wind. Yeah. But this wind just.
That's a great shot from Robert.
Yeah, it's good. But I love this hole for it's forcing us as disc golfers to throw a golf shot, not just take something, throw it really hard, and try and get it close to the basket.
Ben,
Oh,
a little
go
Warden
in.
turnover. Oh,
Dang.
skips it off the top. Wow, that would have been a ridiculous 2.
That would have been sweet. He would have been the
That
only 2.
would be huge.
Now this is the play I like. Is you put it close to this tree. You got a little hyzer. Oh, inside.
Uh-oh.
Jake, that's
Little
not the
early
way.
release. Aiming for Danny. No big
There's a
deal.
lot of air to the left. It's all right. He's still in bounds. Should be able to get up and down. That's a good throw from Robert.
Warden, nice and straight.
Ooh, a little long, but it was a clean release, and he should be happy with the throw.
Mhm.
And that's all you can do at this point when you've been like on board the struggle bus. You have to be able to say, all right, I threw a good shot. Let's go from here.
Yeah, and like you saw there, Kyle was getting tucked up there, and he had a much tighter angle versus Robert or Jake or Ben, who left their drive a little bit shorter and just had a wide open shot over the water.
What a
Jake
putt.
with a great putt there, running it down. No big deal.
Yep. That's
He took the
That's clutch.
Anheuser run it down route too.
yeah. The fadeaway. Oh, that was a nasty
Wow.
lift.
That's an uncharacteristic miss from Eric there. He's usually really solid from that range. Robert, not too happy with that. It's just, I mean, he played in Waco a few weeks ago, and he
Played
was
some
like
great golf.
top 10 in putting percentage inside the circle.
Mhm.
This is just a very, very uncharacteristic day for Robert and the putter.
And I'm telling you, I said it in part one. The weather was real good putt from
Great
Kyle.
birdie.
We were in warm conditions
Mm-hmm.
all this week, and these conditions were at least 30, maybe
yeah.
even 40 degrees cooler
Yeah.
than we were used to. And your body, if you're not acclimated and you're not ready for it, it is a tough thing to acclimate to.
Mm-hmm.
So
there it is. Jake Lauber taking the lead from Eric McCabe, 14 under, moving on to hole 14, 401 feet. It's kind of a straight hyzer. It's an interesting shot. I feel like it's tempting to throw the hyzer, but if you do, you're probably going to saw it off into those trees.
yeah, it's you. I kept telling myself I need to commit, commit, and you have to be able to commit to throwing something flat, wide of it, and trust that the disc is overstable enough to work for you. Or you throw a good hyzer flip line and allow it to kind of work itself over and give yourself a look. That's a very, very, very good lie, considering he went left in those trees. I saw people who could not even see the basket having to force that.
And see, that's the trouble I find with the hyzer flip line. I feel like there's a tendency to pull it just a little bit too inside, get caught up in those trees.
This is the line I like.
Yeah.
Push it wide, overstability of the disc, work in it all day.
Look at that.
All day.
401 foot hole, and Ben just throws it 399.
Yep. He's going to like it.
Golly. Robert, as Ben threw that, Robert said, "Do you even throw far?" And then followed it up with this. Just decided to match his shot.
That's... I think that might have been a Ballista
I believe
Pro.
that's his Ballista Pro, yeah.
That was a good... The angle control on that was pretty exceptional because this crosswind, if he would have flipped that at all with the Ballista Pro having some turn, he was hanging out with us on the next tee pad, and he wouldn't have liked that. Eric pitching it up, that got some crazy skip.
He was not pleased with that lie. He was tucked up right up against that tree, and I believe that was his criminal.
Dang.
So I think he was just trying to aim way wide, get some right to left action, and just leave himself a putt. But like you said here, Jake has a really nice lie considering. If he's a foot farther, he has nothing. If he's a foot deeper, he has nothing.
If he was a foot shorter on his throw, he hits the other tree and ends up in the dead zone.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm taking a 3. You know, he had an opportunity for a 2. It's tough because he had a tailwind, so he needed to get that putt up. But those branches told him to sit down.
Kyle he's dropping grass to see the wind, and it's hitting him in the face. It's a straight headwind.
Look at that flag waving at him like,
Straight headwind. This is just all about committing to it.
good hit.
Just like that.
I mean,
Golly.
Kyle is, showing that recovery, which is great to see. I mean, we saw him have a couple struggle holes to start. Good putt
Good
from
save
Eric.
for Eric. Yeah, earlier in part 1, he 3-putted on one of the first holes of the tournament, and now he's just jamming 30, 40-foot putts.
There you go, Robert.
There's a typical Robert putt. And eventually, here we go. Now Ben finally
Hey, nice
gets the putt.
bird. Yeah, nice bird.
Jeez. That is one. It's a fairly open hole. The fairway shows you the line. You just have to hit it. But that was a perfect drive from Ben. So our 2 leaders with the lone pars, everyone else making up a stroke on them. Hole 15 plays 393, slightly downhill, kind of a sidearm hyzer flip to turn over. It seems like a typical kind of fairway driver, maybe a long shot with the mid-range, a little bit shorter than the 390 says. There was some headwind as Kyle just mashes that thing.
Honestly, this I think is one of the best golf holes because there are multiple ways to access it. There's danger by the basket. There's OB on the right. If you do tend to flip it and make it through, you're going to be in bad shape. But if you execute the shot on a sidearm or the backhand turnover or straight shot, you're rewarded, and that's awesome. That's awesome to see. Now that's a fine play.
It's a good
he's
miss.
out of danger. You should be able to pitch up, down, say thank you very much for the 3, and let's move on to the next hole. But when you're trying to salvage a round, you definitely want to be picking up any birdie you can. So I understand his frustration.
Jake going stiletto, all the power.
There's a lot. He forced
Forced
it
it over
over, and
Probably more than he wanted.
but you're playing. He's playing that the disc is overstable enough to work itself back. You know,
He's got
I think
putt.
that stiletto is overstable enough, so it'll work for him.
Eric going explorer, kind of that gentle turn.
Ew.
Wow.
I threw OB in the first round, and it is not fun because that bush is huge.
Yeah.
You're having to throw a blind shot around it where you think you put it close, and then you might not be that close.
Yeah. That was really unfortunate kick for him too. It was a nice looking line, just a little bit high. Robert just laying it up. Like you were talking about. That's a good miss, but if you're on the lead card, not in the lead, you're trying to make up strokes.
Mm-hmm. Well, every
So-
time Kyle takes the win, hey, put your hood on. You got it, dude.
Remember last time.
Now, so he's made a couple headwind putts, so now he's having to adjust to the tailwind and get the disc up, see what he can do. Hey, good effort.
That's, yeah.
I ain't mad about it.
Jake's got a decent birdie look.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a little bit of wind on his shirt. The flags are new, so they're a little stiff. Not trying to move as much as you would think. Let's see if you can just jam this real quick.
See, and this is
Great
where you
putt.
start to see, a player who's getting hot. His motion on those bigger putts, the one he had on the par 4, that looked the same.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just smooth.
he's not changing anything. He's trusting in his ability, and that's how you give yourself an opportunity to, pull away in these tournaments. I mean, he just picked up
He
two
picked up
strokes.
two. He's
on
got
Eric.
3 strokes on Eric McCabe now, who he was 1 stroke behind coming into the round. So Jake is definitely turning it on. It's funny, he's gotten second place, I think the last 2 or 3 years in a row. And so before the first round, he was telling me, he was like, I'm breaking that streak. I'm not getting second place again. So he's not here for games.
No.
He's here to do business.
Mm-hmm.
Hole 16 plays 515 feet. Very long,
Very big.
pretty open,
Yep.
but it's just a big turnover. Sidearm. There is the OB along the right-hand side.
Into
if
a
you go
headwind.
down the hill. I believe that's that same stiletto.
Yep. And again, Jake is showing just how overstable that stiletto is. It shows he can put some power on it, and that disc is coming out for him. So, stiletto's stupid overstable.
Oh, a little bit low, but
He's in business.
Kyle's still. Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, I went for this one and threw it out of bounds. And
That's
I took
the
a 4. And look, these guys are inbounds, looking good, and they're probably taking 3s on this. So you can lose strokes by being aggressive. I wish I would have played smart. But enough about me, because I've only played 1 hole. So
Robert threw Ballista Pro, and I believe that's the same thing from Ben there. Just getting a little bit of turn. If you're outside those trees, you're good.
yeah.
You're probably 100. Just a gentle little upshot. Eric also going Ballista Pro and just
That was an Explorer. Maybe I'm wrong.
Really?
That might have been a Ballista Pro. That looked pretty stable.
yeah.
But he was laying up. He's saying, I'm good enough to get my 3. And let's move on to the next hole.
So Kyle with a little pitch up justice, I think. We're just trying to dunk it.
Dang.
Oh.
And the OB line was really tight here. So it made for this hole to be probably playing closer to a 4 in scoring, because we didn't
get
see many
down.
2s.
That is very close to you can see the flag. That's going to be super close to the OB line. There is a cliff to the left there, so I think it's more of a player safety OB.
Yeah, of course. Good play from Ben.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be a little bit closer, but that
Yeah.
wasn't bad.
Oh. Robert going slammer, get a little bit of a wind drop there.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll still have a putt.
Don't look. He knows it's good.
Jake, yeah. So Eric was inbounds, but it was very close.
Dang.
It was very close. I believe he was straddling the
Oh,
I believe he was straddling the line and just couldn't convert on that. A little bit right side. There
Good
we go.
cleanup.
This is another one where a 3 isn't a birdie, but it feels good.
yeah.
You'd have to play it really well. You'd have to throw really far to get your 2,
Mm-hmm.
but a 4 is definitely there with the OB left, the OB long, and the whole right side being OB. It's definitely there.
And
just
on our
inviting.
card, we did have a 2. Brian Freeze smashed on a defender and had a a 20-footer, and he just said, "Thank you very much," which was really cool to see.
Yeah, he throws far.
That you can
throws
smash.
real far.
He's a great Canadian golfer that is doing good things.
So Eric with the lone bogey, pars for everyone else. Jake now has a 4-stroke lead going into hole 17. There is 20 holes, so there's more than one left. So Eric still has a chance.
And we still finish on hole 1, so they got some time.
Yep. So hole 17 plays 300 feet. You'll see some backhands sometimes, but I really like the sidearm on this. It kind of slopes down. If you throw a sidearm just nice and flat and get a little bit of skip just like that, you can get right up next to the basket just like that.
I think that works. There is actually a spike hyzer line.
There is, but it's tight.
It's.
I feel like that is the third best option for this hole.
I think so too, but man, I was so tempted to throw it.
You're not going to get there on the spike hyzer.
You can.
You can.
You can because you're playing a little bit of a tree crash, but it's not really there. But
there's the turnover.
Butter. Just don't go straight.
Fought out
a putt. Come on,
a little bit too much.
Good.
Yeah, that was a suspect. I think if he had hit 3 more trees with that thing before he threw it,
perfect.
I think it would have been perfect. Yep.
This sidearm play. This is a felon from Robert. I really like. Don't go high. Oh.
That's the danger with the sidearm, is that one tree.
Yep. You just get a flat sidearm that works itself down.
Yep, something overstable. Eric with that same shield. Just hold that.
Check up. Check up.
Yep.
Make it.
So there's Robert. No 2-meter rule because we're not in California.
And we're not stupid. If you're offended by that,
sorry.
Just think about it. Don't play that rule.
So that's all you can do from there.
Yep. Swallow your pride.
Really unfortunate because this is one where I know Robert walks up to it expecting to get a 2. And to have to walk away with a 3 at best is just, that's not what you want getting into the end of the last round. Oh, Ben.
Dang.
Mr. Big Putts. No big deal. Wow. Eric with the nice easy birdie as well.
Let's see. 4 birdies.
Mm-hmm. That's Kyle's drive, the blue one. Yep.
I think we can count this one.
I think he's got it.
Yeah, just cut this clip. He's got it. He does.
There it is. So Robert just ruining the star frame.
Yeah.
Golly.
And he didn't. I mean, the angle he threw, the line he threw, wasn't bad. It just was high, and then you're contending with that tree. So, sting face.
Yeah, he said, I think I've had too many of those, where everyone else is done with the hole, and I'm tapping in a missed putt. So, Robert with the lone par, everyone else with birdies. Jake still has that 4-stroke lead. So Eric has got to make a move, and he's got to do it now. Hole 18, 280 feet. It's a little bit more uphill than the camera shows, as you can see by Jake throwing it flat and just not getting the height you want.
I think, and this is not a dig at Jake, but I think this was probably one of the easiest holes on the course.
Wow.
It's a safe throw. All you have to do is give it a little bit of height, and you can play it a little bit of right of the basket and hyzer it in, and then you use the hill. What was that?
Yeah. Then you can even see on his face, like we were all just, what?
That was crazy.
It's like someone took the air out of that thing. It didn't hit a tree. It didn't hit anything. The wind just smashed it down.
Eric getting a little over on this one, but it's working himself back. He's going to have a longer look than he'd like. Yeah.
But it's uphill. He can run that.
Now I feel really dumb because I said these players. I was like, this is the easiest hole in the course.
Robert just.
There we go.
Wow.
That's the shot we're
That's
looking
what you
for.
want
It's
to
not.
do.
That's not. That is in everybody's wheelhouse.
I feel like Jake had a little bit of a misrelease. He thought that one was in, just running it. It looked like a decent line, but a little bit high, a little bit right.
Yeah.
Ben,
I tend to. I wouldn't run unless I
you'd
know
walk
it's
it out?
in. Unless I know it's in.
that?
Like that.
just walk it down. Cool guys don't look at explosions.
I almost wait
God.
until I know it's in the chains because running down a spit out also hurts. It's just like no.
You don't want to be that guy.
But I mean, Jake's feeling hot, so I mean, you can't fault him.
Oh, wow.
That's the wind coming
Dang.
straight at Eric's face. I had to get that up because he's putting it
Yep.
uphill, and then
You can see
the wind
those
says,
flags in
"Hey,
the
I
back.
got you." Oh wait, too much.
Nah. You can really see the flags in the background going. There's no flag on this, as it's just the practice basket. It's
Mhm.
not a normal hole anymore. It used to be, but we've actually... Oh, wow.
Jake opening
Sit
the door a little bit
down.
here, but I mean,
Yikes.
he has a 4-stroke lead. He's only losing 1 to Eric, and
2 to play.
you know, Ben's not catching him. Kyle's taking a 2 here, so he it's one of those things. He's not. Jake shouldn't be panicking yet with 2 holes to play. He
No.
should be able to clean this up, go par, and he's not going to lose anything.
But you also don't want to leave the door open for
Ever.
guys like Eric.
Ever.
No.
I mean, he does need to keep in mind that the guys here he is playing against are really good.
Real good golfers. So.
You can't give opportunities.
And look at this dog. Tell me that's not the cutest dog in the entire world.
Dude,
It's
that's
so fluffy.
so cute.
So birdies for Kyle, Ben, and Roberts. The bogey
Ben
for
Higgins
Jake.
birdie.
Yep.
He jammed that putt.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Kyle. Ben.
So moving on to 18A. This is another temporary hole. 300 feet straight. A whole bunch of trees. It's pretty much I feel like the putter or mid-range, just kind of a hyzer flip. Nice and straight. Kyle going shield.
Ouch.
Missed that.
Oh, yeah. Get there.
Really good looking line.
Gross.
And just didn't.
Ouch.
Didn't
my
settle.
ouch was right.
Yeah.
That was a good throw. This is one of those holes that I don't know. That OB line might be because of a property line, but I wish we could push it back into those trees, because if you end up going left,
Mm-hmm.
it's artificial OB. You're having to throw. You're not getting a 2.
Yeah.
And that could be my only gripe about this one. I ended up going right and took a 4, so it doesn't matter where you go. If you're in the trees, it
You don't
sucks.
have to be OB.
Yeah, it sucks wall to wall, so you're good. That's a good throw.
Nice
to
shot
slide up.
from Eric.
Eric's gonna be putting some pressure on Jake here
Mhm.
to
He's got to throw a good shot now.
go in that right
Missed
gap.
that tree.
Hey,
Wow.
that's in business. He's
Laughing at the pressure.
at most losing a stroke to Eric if
Mhm.
Eric can bang and he doesn't make.
Yep.
But if he bangs this putt, he's pretty much closing the door.
Wow.
That's all you really can do.
Decent looking bid there.
Eric needs
He's
to
got to
put
make
some
this.
pressure, even though Jake's closer. Great hit. That's some world champ stuff right there.
And you can tell how focused Eric was because the KU Duke game had just started.
If you guys don't know, Eric is a huge KU fan.
Die hard.
He's a Jayhawk. Oh, that's a good stick. But that's that same motion he's had.
Mhm.
A little bit on that right side.
It's kind of
It
funny.
deserved to be in. It's
Yeah.
one of those things. Like, yeah, we've seen those putts fall out, but he didn't throw a bad enough putt to miss.
Mhm.
So that's good.
So Kyle has this left for his par. Not too difficult of a putt, but would be much better if that was his birdie putt.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
unfortunate for him there.
I mean, he would be putting from like awkward footing in those leaves
Mhm.
from 30 feet for a 2.
Yeah.
Instead, he moves up 10 feet and makes a 20-footer for 3.
So birdies for our leaders. Jake has, or not leaders, our leader, as well as Eric and Ben.
Webster's closed the gap on Eric, which is awesome to see.
So hole 1 is actually going to be the final hole of the
Mhm.
tournament. Plays 375 over the OB baseball field, or you can kind of throw. I've seen rollers off the tee. I've seen sidearms off the tee, turnovers off the tee. But I feel like these guys are going to go the hyzer. You do have to miss that baseball field fence, and then clear it on the other side.
Ouch.
Yikes! Ben tried to go through the fence.
Yeah,
And-
it's not invisible.
As it turns out, metal is stronger than plastic. Eric had to have a good shot there, and he was not happy with that.
Yeah, he's legitimately in business if for whatever reason Jake throws it out of bounds. But Jake
Yeah.
is doing the exact thing he should.
Yep.
Taking a disc,
Play it safe.
not even thinking about OB, way wide, using that really overstable disc and the
Yeah.
stiletto, showing that, man, no matter what, stilettos are always overstable.
He even kept it low enough where even if he shanked it it wasn't high enough to clear the fence. He would have just
And
gone
that's-
straight into the fence.
That's a really smart play.
Yep.
I think a lot of players watching this should learn from this. Understand where you're at in the tournament. Understand that, hey, I don't need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm winning. Unless somebody on the chase card goes off, and then you shake their hand after the tournament and be like, dude, you shot a course record, good for you.
Yeah.
Which we didn't. But that's next level stuff. You have to. There are times that people are like, I don't know what I'm at. Jake was smart to say,
At this point-
I know exactly where I'm at. I know exactly what I need to do, and he executed it to perfection and has given himself the right opportunity to finish this tournament as our winner. And
Really smart.
good
Just
stuff from Jake. Really
nice,
good stuff.
easy 3. For any hope, Eric has to make this and hope
Yeah.
Jake somehow misses twice.
Yeah. Oh man.
He wanted that so bad.
Oh my god.
He wanted that so bad.
Ah man, dude.
And I mean, if that's an inch, 2 inches farther,
Yeah. Oh. Just it's okay.
unforgiving basket, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Robert missed a little short. Robert and Kyle both had really good drives to give himself a putt
Kyle, this is actually to
to tie.
seal second place. Oh. This basket don't want
Yikes.
none. Unless you
These
got
guys are on the
putts.
final hole of the tournament, but this basket is not done. Just
Ouch.
not. Wow. Ben a little short, Kyle a little left, Eric a little short, Robert a little short. Maybe
So-
there is hope for Eric if
Mhm.
Jake can just keep the trend alive.
Let's
This
see.
is for the win. No
Good
pressure.
win from Jake. That's proud of him. He's a great golfer, especially after coming up short here at this tournament.
A few years in a row.
Yeah, it's cool. And
Really good to get that monkey off his back.
You
no
know,
pun intended.
and it shows that we have so many great players on this team dynamic team and across West Side and everything that we have golfers who can show up on a weekend and be the best player no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah, and many people haven't heard of Jake Lauber,
Mm-hmm.
and that's awesome to see. Maybe people haven't heard of Ben Wiggins, but
Yep.
these guys can play, and if you put them on a big stage, you know they have every bit of the opportunity to show that they are the guys
They
that
can
be
do
there.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So Jake takes the win there with a really hot 52.
Dope.
Really, really good score there. And then Eric and Kyle tied for second place.
The
And
big ups to Doug and everybody at DD for putting on this tournament. It was easily one of the best B tiers I've ever played. It was professionally
Absolutely.
run. The course looked great, and that's what you can expect from a DD event. I know we're big fans of DD, so you might seem as a little biased, but go play one and tell me I'm wrong.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, because they're always top notch. So check them out if you can.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Eric, for joining me.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Congratulations to Jake on the big win.
Nice,
Finally
dude.
getting that off his back. And thank you, everyone, for watching.
Yeah, thanks, guys.